Morning News, 17th of November, 1834. In future tables of chronicle events, the terrible destruction occasioned by a fire which broke out last evening will stand out in startling effect. The mere announcement to our readers that the House of Lords, the House of Commons, and all the various offices have become prey to the unsparing elements of fire. You will awaken feeling in which sorrow, astonishment, and doubt will become singular-minded, but such unwelcome and unlamentable as may be the knowledge of it is too certainly the truth. At 5:30 in the evening, a friend of ours passed up Abingdon Road, and between the Houses of Parliament and the Abbey, when all was still, and as apparently free from danger as the most sacred or secure buildings in the kingdom. Yet within a short hour from that period, the interior of the House of Lords was filled with one vast flame, casting its lurid glare far over the horizon, lighting up the broken clouds above, which were driven on before a strong westerly gale, spreading over the silent Thames a vast sheet of crimson that seemed to smother the more feeble rays of the rising moon, bringing out the stately and majestical towers of the Abbey in strong relief against the deep blue western sky, with a bright white tint of fire, strange and sepular in contrast with all around, and playing with seemingly wayward and fantastical scintillations on the imitable fretwork of the 7th Parish Chapel. A fierce volume of flame, fed rather controlled by the wind, forced its way upwards to some height above the devoted buildings, in which it reigned unchecked until gradually losing its power, and following the direction of the gale, it bent forward towards the east and extended far across the river, covered the opposite shore in a wreath of murky smoke. Immediately opposite the devastating ruin from the vicinity of Lambeth Palace, the scene partook of a different character. More of the detail of destruction was visible. At the time of our arrival at this point, it was evident that the House of Commons had shared the same fate with the House of Lords. The gable end of the former, the last relic of the chapel of St. Stephen, with its beautiful Gothic window, stood up between us and the glowing furnace of fire in strong and beautiful outline, whilst at intervals, as the smoke varied in its motion, other portions of the Gothic architecture could be seen. The oriel windows, turrets and towers broke on view, and all within inside them was feeding the devouring elements of fire. By 7:30, the engines were brought into play upon the building both from the river and the land side, but the flames had by this time acquired such a predominance that the quantity of water thrown upon them produced no visible effect, and in less than an hour from the time at which the flames first appeared, the entire roof of the House of Lords had fallen in. The firemen now abandoned all hope of saving any parts of this portion of the building, and their attention and efforts were from this time wholly directed towards the House of Commons, and to the preservation of that venerable structure, Westminster Hall, which for the beauty of its architecture and its close connection with some of the most important events in our history is equally admired and estimated by the antiquarians, the man of science, and the citizens. For some time their efforts were successful, but not so ultimately. The wind, which previous to this time had blown from south, that is, in a direct line from Abingdon Street towards Charing Cross, now at near 8 o'clock veered somewhat towards the west, thus throwing the flames immediately upon the House of Commons, the angle of which abutted upon the House of Lords caught fire, and notwithstanding the utmost exertions of the firemen, assisted by the military, the roof ignited. The woodwork, of which being old and dry, the flames spread with the rapidity of a wildfire, and in a very short time indeed, the whole of the roof of this ancient building fell in with a tremendous crash, accompanied with an immense volume of flame and smoke, and emitted in every direction millions of sparks of flames of fire. This appearance, combined with the sound, resembled the reports of a piece of heavy ordnance, inducing the assembled multitude to believe that an explosion of gunpowder had taken place. And the scene of confusion which followed baffles the power of description. Hello and welcome back to the Obsidian Order. Stage 2 part? I think episode 2? That was a major build. I have really no idea how long this is taking me. It's taking me a heck of a long time to complete. Now, we are missing a few things, okay? We are missing the main towers. So we're missing the tower that goes here, which is the big thick tower. Let's land here. There we go. We're missing the big thick tower, which is the Victorian tower. Oh, I think it's Victoria. Is that a Victoria or Victorian tower? Which is like the biggest structure out of the Palace of Westminster, or House of Commons is commonly known. We're also missing the middle one, the centre structure, which is the octagon, which is basically an octagon-shaped building, which is there, which goes quite high up as well. That was originally built because it was at the centre of all the structures around here to basically make sure that smoke and dirty air went straight up and out. That's the reason why it was first built anyway. But the octagon, which is should be there, and we are also missing possibly the most famous tower, which is this corner down here, the Elizabeth Tower, or commonly known as Big Ben. Big Ben is the bell, but the actual tower is called the Elizabeth Tower. So missing those, and these three different towers will form the next episode. We'll be doing the building for these in the next episode to complete the structure. Now, the amount of resources this has taken, it's been pretty ridiculous. It took that much. I've actually basically got the help of Mantis and Grim, who basically supplied a heck ton of wheat. I've got a mud farm and stuff, but I don't have a wheat farm, so it makes things a little bit difficult when it's when I'm trying to make this mud brick. And yeah, so many thanks goes to CraftingMantis and Grim for supplying basically tons and tons of wheat, because I still need more. Still need more wheat. I've got that left and stuff, but I'll probably make my way through most of this with the two big towers, because they are massive structures still. Let's go to sleep quickly. But yeah, really enjoyable. Really enjoyed it. It did take a little bit longer than I thought. And to be brutally honest, I thought it was going to be I don't know. For some reason, I thought it was going to be a relatively easy build. But no, I was wrong. It wasn't a relatively easy build. What I didn't show in the time lapse was me basically demolishing and rebuilding parts of this structure many times. The centre bits were wider. Then I worked out from the actual pictures of the Houses of Parliament that were around about half the size of the end ones, so I had to rechange them out. And yeah, just lots of little details were pulled down and rebuilt, and I missed out of the time. That's because I'm pretty sure you wouldn't have wanted to see it. So what did you think of the story? Now, that was taken from an actual excerpt from a newspaper of the time and stuff. It was summarized down a little bit, but yeah, that's pretty much basically how they saw it happen in the actual fire. Now, I've given myself the leeway of allowing myself to build this in the Industrial Revolution, because this was not built originally in the Industrial Revolution. This was built in, I think it's like 1100 or 1200. So yeah, it was a long time before the Industrial Revolution. But because the vast majority was burnt down, it was rebuilt during the Industrial Revolution time, which is the reason why I'm allowing it for myself. Now, yes, it was basically lovingly restored to basically its former glory, but some things they couldn't do anything about. What I do have missing is the back end of all of these things, because there is actual more buildings along here. I'm pretty sure there's Westminster Abbey, which should be down here somewhere, and there's also quite a few other little buildings that go along behind the actual Houses of Parliament as well. The dimensions as well, this is not correct dimensions wise, so this is actually half the size of the actual Houses of Parliament. The House of Parliament is actually double the length of this, but this would have taken me, well, way over into the future, and to be honest, I wanted it to fit nicely into this section of land. I think it goes quite nicely there, and obviously it's twice as long and twice as high, but I'd still be building it next Christmas if I was building it to scale and stuff. So I did it half dimensions, and I'm happy. And I'm happy with how it turned out. What do you think? You're watching at home and stuff. So what do you think how the actual building ended up? I like it. I like the choice. Really, really hard to choose the actual bricks. If you look at pictures of the Houses of Parliament, it's more of a lighter sandstone colour. But not to the extent of, you know, what we have over here, which is obviously the train station. I thought this was too light to use, so I went with the mud brick. It's mud brick. Oh, ouch. So we've got, we have a normal mud brick, we have the mud brick bricks, and then we have mushroom as well. So that's the two blocks I've used, and this is deep slate on top for the actual roofing. Details wise, I'm probably missing an absolute ton of details, and obviously I can keep on adding details to it as time goes by and stuff. But the rudimentary design of it, I'm quite happy with how close it is to the actual layout and proportions to the actual House of Parliament, which is what I try to do. I try to get as close as I can do it. Sometimes I have to take a few liberties, sometimes a few artistic license to call it, but I'm happy with the actual end result, which is the main thing. What I do want to do though, I want to put some trees lining this this walkway, and I also want to have some walkways coming down to the actual water as well. It's a big fish. Because I think it'd be quite good to have some trees lining, because the actual road in front of this, which basically faces the River Thames, is actually lined with railings and trees as well. So there's trees usually going all the way along here. So I might just basically separate them out a little bit as I'm going down. I do hope you like this project and stuff. I know it never usually reflects the same thing, but the amount of time that you put in a project to how much people will like the project, I'm happy with it, which, to be honest, that should be good enough, to be honest. As long as I'm happy with it, the other server members think it's a beautiful build as well, and you know, it's probably one of the nicest ones I've done in quite some time. Yeah, super happy with that. Cool. Right, let me put some stuff away, and I'll show you around the rest of the place. Now we are actually in the actual building now. Now, this build is well, this building in general is basically separated into multiple offices, multiple stairs, and basically levels. I think there's 2 or maybe 3 levels to the House of Parliament. And obviously you have the, you know, the House of Lords and the House of Commons. Now, I've never been fortunate enough to actually visit the House of Commons in real life. This is probably as close as I'm ever going to get to the Houses of Commons. But yeah, you should have the House of Commons and the House of Lords within this building as well. I don't know where it's situated. I think probably this is a big area, probably somewhere around here and probably somewhere around there. yeah, a lot more walls have to be placed in, a lot more dividing walls, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to put some sort of ceiling in here to divide this up into 2 floors. But yeah, I've got all that to look forward to ahead of me. Now, as mentioned in the video description, I did want to basically touch base with how last year went as well. A little bit of a mini review of 2024 and what we'll be doing in 2025. For 2024, we set ourselves the goal of hitting 1,000 subscribers. We did that, and many thanks go out to everybody who subs to my channel. We beat that and then some. Currently sitting around about the 1,300 mark, not too sure, but it's around about 1,300 mark. And we've also got another little side thing. I wanted to hit 100,000 views as well, but there or thereabouts. I know it's slightly over into 2025, but yeah. When it comes to actual series and stuff, I can't really say with any definiteness that I've been happy with all of them. With the results and the amount of episodes and just general editing and the amount of work that I put into each series and stuff, probably this series, the Obsidian Order series, is probably the work I'm proudest of. Rusty Gears is a talk for another time. There's a whole thing with Rusty Gears at this moment in time, but I'm not going to get into. By the way, it's nothing to do with conflict with other people as well. It's nothing to do with that. It's just about me just generally playing on Rusty Gears. I've got lots of things to think about anyway when it comes to Rusty Gears. And obviously we flitted between my single player, Vintage Story, my old world, and obviously a few permadeath worlds and stuff. I think in 2025, I still would like to introduce another game to the channel. I think it'd be good to have one more game added to the channel. I would also like to have a little bit more consistency when it came to series. Having more than like 15 episodes would be a good start, I think. Heading towards 35 to 40 number would be quite nice. I don't think I'm ever going to get to the point where I'm doing a series of 100 episodes. It's not the way I record. I can't record every single finite detail. It ain't me. I know a lot of people can, but it's not my style. I like to edit, and I like to chop out things which I don't think. Basically, I edit and chop out things which I find boring. That's my rule of thumb when I'm basically doing my editing. If I find something boring and I'm not going to like my own video, I won't put it in. Simple as that. How much darker do you want it to get? Come on. There we go. Yeah, so going for 2025, I think more consistency with series lengths. I do want to have a Vintage Story series. The permanent one will not last forever. We all know that. I will eventually die. I will succumb to something, a bad guy, or someone's going to get me in the end. I can hear a skeleton. Where's the skeleton? Roof? Below me, possibly? Ah. We'll ignore him. Just pretend he's not there. But yeah, I would like to have another Vintage Story series going, whether that be a complete new start of a single player world, completely fresh, maybe an unmodded one, pure vanilla. I know not many people do pure vanilla, and I do like playing in Vintage Story vanilla. Nothing against mods, I like playing with mods, but when it's about vanilla world, I like to have access to the newest updates and stuff, and you can't really do that with mods. I want to continue here as well. The Obsidian Order. I want to basically flash out this new section we've got here. I want to try to play as much as I can with other members as well. Oh, I got this from Cranky, innit? Yeah, Cranky. So Cranky Calamari, the Trials and Tribulations chamber that I kept on dying in. He said he's left me something. TNT Gen 1 is over. I got a participation award. Okay, this is a slowness out, but it's still a participation award. I didn't do very well. I'm still going to do his next generation. He's building a completely brand new system, and he's weirdly enough, he's he's taken some inspiration on my multiple deaths. So he wouldn't go into details as to what he meant by he took inspiration from my multiple deaths, but he said basically he's tweaked it and changed it a bit. Well, he's thinking of tweaking it and changing it a bit. Maybe, I don't know, maybe for people who aren't that good, like me. But yeah, I think, 2025, I think we're going to have another bumper year. I'm not really going to set myself any subscription levels. Be nice to hit 2,000, but if we don't, it's no biggie. Obviously, I want to get past that 100,000 views. I am going to do it anyway. I'll do it at some point and stuff. But yeah, I just want to keep on building. If there's anything that you would like to see from the channel, nobody ever puts a comment. You know, nobody ever suggests anything. But if you would like to see something from the channel, put it inside the comments below. I used to have a Discord once upon a time, but I closed that down because obviously there wasn't many people on there. But yeah, you put some ideas down in the comments now. I think, well, maybe even games you think I should give it a go. But I think I think that'll do it for today. Finally gonna get this video out. It's been in the planning process and building process for quite some time, but yeah, as always, hope you've enjoyed the actual video, and you know what to do, usual stuff, and I will see you in the next episode. Alrighty, for now, bye.